Good evening and welcome. I'm going to call the regular meeting of the Nevada City Public Arts Commission to order. Ooh, and I see one of our commissioners. Today is Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025. It is 5:30. Cool. Commissioner Clark, would you read the land acknowledgement?
We acknowledge that the Nisenan people are still here among us today, though nearly invisible. We understand that we are on Nisenan land that was never ceded, and the original tribal families have yet to recover from the near genocide of their people. As a resident or visitor in Nisenan land, we support the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan tribe in efforts to stabilize their people, as well as their campaign to restore federal recognition.
Thank you. And I'd like to ask Commissioner Wilcox Barnes to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Deputy City Clerk, could we do roll call, please?
Commissioner Ariana's not here. Commissioner Clark?
Here.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Here.
Commissioner Tudor? Commissioner Wilcox Barnes?
Here.
Vice Chair Harney?
Here.
And Chair Negrete?
Not here,
Not here.
sadly. Okay. The first thing we're going to do today is the swearing-in ceremony for Diana Arbex, our newly appointed public, should I be saying this?
Gianna.
It's just
It's
spelled that way.
Thank
Sounds
you.
different.
Apologies. Let the record show it is pronounced Gianna. Newly appointed Public Arts Commissioner. And Vice Mayor Klein will lead the swearing-in.
Oh, look. There's so much quorum. You're gonna be so good at it.
Join me. So I'm to read this and she's to repeat it, one of those, Sean?
Yes, and if you do it perfectly, you'll be the first.
We're gonna
No
nail
pressure.
this. When I say state your name, don't repeat state your name, just actually state your name.
Okay.
Cool. Okay.
Raise your right.
I state your name.
Gianna
No, you have to
Arbex.
say I and then state your name.
I, Gianna Arbex,
So far, we're nailing it. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies,
and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies,
foreign and domestic.
foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the State of California.
That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations, Commissioner.
Please take your seat here with us. Here. Here. Welcome. So happy to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, first up, we're doing the consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussions of these items. Before we take action on the consent calendar, we will hear any public comment on consent calendar items only. Do we have any public comment on a consent item? Sean, could you explain to us what number 2 is? It is a new item.
Yes, thank you. So number 2 is, usually in the past, you've just had your minutes on your consent calendar. After your last meeting, we added this. It will be on all of your agendas moving forward, and it's titled Calendar Agenda Items and Commission Requests for Future Presentations and Actions. So that's where we'll catalog the things that you bring up at the end of meetings or in the middle of meetings or in emails to us throughout the course of a month, so that we can share with you what we already know is going to hit each individual month's agenda. So if you look into that item, it'll show you when the next Champ Gallery theme will be chosen and things like that. And then after those known ones, it has a running list of the items that you have requested presentations on or that we look into, things like that. What's on there in that section is largely what you brought up at your last meeting, but we will add to that over time and hopefully add and delete as we go. So I'm sure we'll add some more tonight as we move forward.
Beautiful, thanks so much. Okay, now I'm looking for a motion and second to approve the consent calendar.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Cool. I have a motion by Commissioner Schwartz and a second by Commissioner Arianes. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Arianes? Aye. Commissioner Schwartz?
Aye.
Nope, okay, right here, okay. Commissioner Wilcox Barnes?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Harney?
Aye.
Motion carries.
What about the new one?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. She's on my new list. Commissioner Arbex?
Aye.
Motion double carries.
Do I get to hit this every time we do something productive?
Till it breaks, you can hit it as much as you like.
It carries. This is amazing. All right, it's business time. First order of business, consideration of a public art application for a mosaic tile on the retaining wall adjacent to 135 Argyle Way. And we have a presentation from Sean and Lisa, with Lynn from the Chamber of Commerce as the applicant agent.
Do you want to participate?
Only if there's questions, I'll answer.
Awesome. Come on up, Lynn. So I will kick it off. This is probably not the most conventional way we'll get a public art application, but generally public art's not conventional, so that's okay. The artist in this case is Miriam Morris, who is with us here this evening. She did the wonderful tile mosaics that are on Argyle Way in the city-owned planter boxes, and has a proposal that is before you this evening. There was a couple of different ideas of what might go on this wall and what might also go on the wall that's a little bit further down, that it transitions from kind of a smooth old concrete finish into a split face stack block wall as it kind of rounds the corner into the Cal Organics / Sushi in the Raw parking lot there off of Argyle. Those were, I thought, there was lots of cool ideas, or several cool ideas that came through. It ended up that we're left with just the one, which was the cool idea that I think started it all off in the first place. This is, the wall itself is an old wall that was constructed as part of, before there was Caltrans, the DOT yard that is at 775 Zion Street. It travels down past behind Dave's Auto and hits Argyle, continues on, and then when they built the Cal Organics, what's now Cal Organics and Sushi in the Raw, they continued from this wall down Argyle and then wrapped it into the parking lot in a different face. Part of it is city-owned wall, but the majority of it is not, but is all in the right-of-way. But that kind of doesn't matter so much as who's the ownership or who could cry wolf or complain that it's their interest. So The reason I say that is because the balcony on the National, right down the street from us, is in the right-of-way, but it's clearly the National's balcony. So if we were just to go and paint it pink for some reason, I think they would probably not be happy. So we would want to have owner's consent before we did that. So in this case, this is a joint application between the city and the owners of the property that Calorganic Sushi and the Raw is on there. And because of that overlapping interest, it's in the right of way, but it's a wall that's on or up against their property. And in this case, the Chamber of Commerce has agreed to basically be the agent to represent the interests of that private property owner and essentially be our agents as well, and work with the artists. And on behalf of the artists, the city will be participating in funding of this. And by funding, I mean we will be providing funds to the chamber, and the chamber will be distributing those funds to the artists. So we don't have a direct relationship for the payment of time or materials, but there is money that will be transferred there. So with that, I will give it to Lynn to share more about the project and anything else. The artist obviously is here to answer any questions, and then Lisa might chime in on anything that we need your thoughts on as we go through here, because this is a very specific process like we did with the Onyx mural. There's criteria that have to be met, and at the end, findings that you need to make your recommendation so that it can take the next step to the Planning Commission. Lynn.
Thanks, John. So I'll keep it pretty brief, but in your packet you do have a copy of the rendering of what the proposed mosaic project looks like. And like Sean said, Miriam is here if you have any questions specific to that, but the mosaic project will feature native birds as well as a squirrel in there. So it'll be the native birds of Argyle, and we're very excited to extend the project that Miriam already created with the planter boxes and extend it up and really make it more of a focal point in Seven Hills to be an art destination. So I'll leave it pretty simple and brief, but we're very excited to work on the project.
And then as far as maintenance plan, I will add that the Chamber of Commerce has drafted an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, to be in a sort of contract situation with the city to help identify some of those potential future issues and to make an agreement for the shared funding.
Great. Thank you. Any questions from the commission?
Yeah. I mean, first off, I think this is wonderful. Miriam has done such an incredible job with the other planter boxes. I feel she's already proved proof of concept here. It's bringing such loveliness to the area. Sean, could you elaborate a little bit more about that section? Like you said, there were some other options. I was there the other day and I was like, oh, this other part of the wall is going to look so shabby in comparison to the beautiful mosaic going there. So how could that be mitigated?
Yeah, so there's really two other parts, the way I see it. There's the part that's further up towards Zion Street that is essentially the stem wall of Dave's Auto, because you have big elevation change as you go to Dave's Auto. So it has two faces along Argyle there that are blank concrete, much like this wall is. So there would be potentially an opportunity there, and that's not included in this project. And then the one below, that is this what we call split face stack block. It's the more ornamental, or looks a little bit nicer than just poured in place concrete. That wall is essentially it is either in the right of way or on private property, and it's all owned by, strangely, not by the owners of the Calorganics property, but by the property that, if you go in the Calorganics lot and then go to the left, the Buttonworks building, it's the owners of that building that own the parking lot, so they own the wall there. So they had, so that was the complicating factor of who wanted to sponsor the art project. And if that was the case, it would have been a private, not city co-sponsored activity, and they would have had to have paid the art fund, and they weren't interested. And I don't want to speak for them. They weren't
Yeah.
interested at this point in doing that. Hopefully, we can get them to do that at some point. That'd be great to continue the project on. But that's that's kind of the backstory there.
Okay, thank you.
Hopefully, it will look blank, and then they'll want to do something more. I'm sorry, Miriam, I don't remember the name of your co-artist that had an idea for there, but
Katie Connor was the main designer of the concept of the other one.
so she had an idea of how they would, because it has a different texture to it, of how they would clean it off, power wash it, do a kind of a thin set
Okay.
to give it a uniform approach so they could do what their proposal was there. So they had already done some due diligence of what could be done there.
All right, wonderful.
More to come. Any other clarifying questions from the commission?
I couldn't really find it here, but I was wondering if there's any piece of like interpretive material that would go with this piece, kind of speaking to, like giving credit to the artists, maybe that it is a partnership with the city. Is that included in the plan? Or any indication, perhaps even maybe incorporated into the art at all? Just curious about that, yeah.
I prefer not to have things like that on the art itself. I think that it can be referenced within the Arts Council's guide to public art if people were interested in it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, there is a mural art tour, so we'll make sure to include that and also include the credit to the artist and, what the project is too.
Great. Any public comment on this item?
Gail Damsky. I highly support this. When I saw the mosaics going in around the planter boxes, I became very excited for that business district that really needs some help in bringing it into this progressive area. So I am all for it. I think it's going to be delightful. It just enhances that whole area, and thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
Can I ask the artist a question real quick? Are you going to be wanting to seek donations of tiles or pieces?
Actually, I was going to self-fund this piece, but if we could maybe have some agreement, like the city wants to pay for materials, and then I just take that and put it into the fund that will pay for the next project on the bumming wall, maybe that would work. Does that make sense?
It does. Our agreement will be with the chamber, so then your agreement will be with the chamber, and so I'm sure there will be a way that can work between the two agreements.
All right. Okay, commissioners, opening it up for comment here, and you see the recommended action is on the agenda. Yeah.
A question, and I guess this would be for Miriam. Have you had any vandalism at all on the planter boxes?
The only vandalism was unintentional by cars backing into it, and that was before the city put up those bollards.
Okay.
And since then, there hasn't been any damage to them.
Okay.
The only thing, I was wiping some of the dirt off of them today, and they're really good still.
Mother Nature doing damage to them? Is that what you're vandalizing them?
Not yet.
No, I mean, meant the dirt. That's it.
Okay. Yes, so we're serving as the Art Review Authority. We're reviewing the application, make a finding that the art is in compliance with the definition of public art, and recommend the application's approval by the Design Review Authority.
I make a motion that the art is in compliance and that we would recommend this to the Design Review Authority.
I second that motion.
Great. Roll call.
Commissioner Arianes?
Aye.
Commissioner Arbex?
Aye. Commissioner Schwartz?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
And Vice Chair Harney?
Aye.
Motion carries.
You got me.
What's that?
Should I stop doing that?
You got me in
Might be my
motion.
only time for like a year.
Look, you filled a little
We're moving here. We're moving here. Okay, great. That's so exciting. Okay, our next order of
Thank you, Lynn.
business. Yeah, thank you,
Mary.
Lynn.
Thank you.
Miriam. Sean and Lisa, we'll thank you later. You can stay where you are. Selection of City Hall Art Meets the Public, our Champ Gallery submissions for the May 2025 opening.
Shannon, I can present this item. So we did do a call to artists in March and requested shares on social media of the commission and reached out to schools directly and definitely put some effort into getting the word out. And we did have some applications come through. They're looking great. So thank you to any young artists that have already submitted. I do think that we need to extend the application period for the call to artists, and the proposal that we've come up with here is to extend through May 1st, and then the commission can review and make selections at the May 7th meeting. That would give us more time to continue to reach out to schools and hopefully get more youth to submit their art pieces. And I'm here to answer any questions.
How many submissions do we have at the moment?
I haven't checked because I was out of town for the last week, but I believe we were,
It was 8 artists and 13 individual pieces when we wrote the staff report. Because one artist did like 5.
Oh, that's great.
Wait, what did you say, Sean?
One artist did like 4 or 5.
Oh, wow, okay.
What's the size range? Like, do we have any big pieces? Because right now, there's, 16 pieces out there? We were kind of tight on space, like, dependent on size.
I don't think there's any big ones.
They're all pretty small, okay.
Yeah, they're all.
So we need more for sure. All right. And then does this extension mean that we're leaving this art up longer than intended?
Yeah, the art in the hallway was intended to be up through May 1st.
Okay.
So we could leave it up for another week if we wanted.
And those
to.
artists are okay with that?
I haven't got that far, yeah.
Any other clarifying questions from the, commission?
I'm just curious about, like, what's come through in terms of presentation and framing. I mentioned to Lisa that sometimes emerging artists, young artists, aren't as well versed in like presentation and framing. It's something that can get expensive very quickly. So wondering about city support with that, or, in our outreach over the next month, if we extend the deadline, really communicating maybe with teachers of classes or facilitators or mentors to support in that process. Because, it can be a little, I still struggle with it as an artist. So.
Yeah, I am seeing that. Some of them definitely don't look ready to hang. They're not framed yet. And so I was going to ask for a recommendation on that, if you have one, because having the students incur the cost of framing when they haven't been selected yet, and then with the tight time frame between.
I mean, it's tricky because you can go to Ben Franklin's and they're normally booked out, like sometimes a month in advance, and all of our other local framers are pretty expensive. So it's like your cheapest option is like ordering frames online and doing a self-frame job, which depending on how many pieces need that type of support, I'm happy to help, but we'll just have to, that's why I'm hopeful that if we're dealing with students that are in classes, that they can have some like mentorship or teacher support. But yeah, I think it's something we might need to navigate with this particular exhibition. And
Is there any like flexibility with that? I mean, I'm just thinking about the youth exhibits that are up at the Rood right now. They're not framed. They're like, what are they? Adhered to some kind of like felt backing kind of thing. I don't know. Just for flexibility, particularly if we were kind of targeting like a school and a teacher.
I mean, and, you know, if you're getting like photographs or digital works, like having them go through real graphics or a local printer and mounting it on Gator board or foam core, that's cheap. It's easy. It's like what we did for the dark skies. It still looks nice. I mean, there's certainly options. But I think it's also a great opportunity for young artists to learn about, you know, elevating their work. You can take a relatively simplistic piece of art and, you know, make it into a Picasso with a good frame job.
Yeah. Is there public comment on this item? Okay. Comments here, guys, extension.
Yes.
I think it's probably a good idea to extend the time, but with the schools getting out fairly soon, and I think it's a rough go for Lisa to try to, you know.
It's a rough go to get.
Yeah, I agree, we need to extend the time. I'm just not sure whether it'll have better results with the schools right at that end of the season.
Well, I mean, maybe we just need 5 more submissions and we have a
Yeah.
complete show, and then we don't have to reject young artists, which I really
Right.
don't want to do.
I mean, it's such a great topic. I hate to miss out on a lot of our young artists.
And Lisa, have you engaged with the youth commission on this at all? You have, and
yeah.
they've put out word?
Yes,
know.
we took flyers to their last meeting in March, and they were going to hand them out to friends and things.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Have you seen it? You looked at what's come in so far, the submissions, I'm imagining.
Not super closely, yeah, but
I'm
I
curious
have.
if we could, like, even if this is it, if no more come in, if we could cluster them in a smaller amount instead of spreading it throughout the whole hallway, maybe we just choose a wall or something and do it really creatively.
Yeah, and giving art room to breathe is not a bad
Totally.
thing. Like, I personally prefer that, like, give the arts some breathing room, so.
I know also Seven Stars Gallery, they have a youth corner for arts, dedicated to arts, so that could be a good avenue to reach out
I
to them.
already
and-
reached out to
You
her.
have?
Yeah, who organizes that. She said she
Yeah.
would share
Oh,
it
yeah.
with
Okay.
artists, so.
Yeah, a couple of them were sculpture pieces too. I believe one
sweet.
hangs on the wall, and then one was like a freestanding, so,
Super cool.
yeah.
Well, I'm in favor of extending it. I think there's like a greater conversation here just about our promotional efforts and how we can come together to build momentum, and also like the commission kind of holding some of that so Lisa isn't going to every youth council meeting. And yeah, I don't think we have to have that conversation now, but it sounds like there is an ask for us to push it out again and maybe be like incredibly targeted and like actually ask artists you know if to submit. Absolutely. Cool.
Jonas, by the way, did you do the flyers for that we're circulating on social media? Did you have any?
Yeah.
They were so good.
Okay.
Yeah, good
Yeah, he
job, good job.
reviewed them.
They were beautiful. It was so nice to have.
Did you see his Instagram post?
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah,
The
they're really
Instagram
good.
post was great.
Yep.
And this is a learning opportunity for us too,
Totally.
right? So, you know, I think we had great success for the first go around. I think it was a good theme. I think, you know, artists could grab onto it in a variety of different ways. And this is a different group of artists to engage, and so we'll learn from that. And then, you know, who knows what the next theme will be and who those artists will be. So at each step, we'll learn along the way, and you know, that will drive what we do. And maybe the solution is to, you know, do smaller focuses on smaller installations, or you know, ask artists to do more pieces when we know it's going to be smaller groups, or you know, we're open to any of the ideas that do that. There's no rule about this place other than it be an opportunity for local artists to be able to show their work, as opposed to, you know, one professional artist just to put up all their own, you know, work kind of thing.
Totally. trying to change lives here, you know, one artist at a time.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to extend?
Motion to extend.
I second that.
Roll call.
Okay, get this right this time. Commissioner Wilcox Barnes,
Aye.
Commissioner Arianes,
Aye.
Commissioner Arbex,
Aye.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Aye.
Commissioner Clark,
Aye.
and Vice Chair Harney.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Woohoo! All right, cruising. Okay, we've got more business, everyone. We are now going to review the results of the workshop and the survey for public input of the possible public art project on the site of the Broad Street Y project. Lisa.
Yes. So I'm not sure if it's showing on your iPads here. What page? Yes.
I re-uploaded them, it should be on.
Okay, thank you.
This at the bottom.
Okay. So the data that came out of
42
the
out of 107.
Mentimeter is added to your staff report recently, and our apologies for not making that available sooner. There is quite a lot of variation in responses, and so it's several pages directly after the thank you for participating page, so in a moment we can go there. But at your March meeting, we had the workshop for this potential art project, and folks, we had about 100 responses to the survey. As I said, the responses are varied and broad. There definitely are some themes. I do enjoy a few of the slides that I'll highlight, which are the word cloud that shows the, I'll share my screen here. That's the wrong screen.
Now we're in a short-term rental workshop.
I know. Okay. So I think you all remember the questions. There was, I think, 8 of them. So the first question was, what words or themes do you feel best represent our town for this artwork? So here you'll see the most common response was historic, with 18 responses. 99 different people responded to this question. Also prominent were Nisenan, community, and nature, with 13, 12, and 10 responses. This word cloud here does a pretty good job of showing those words that came through that more people voted for. So you'll see community, nature, culture, welcoming, creative, vibrant, colorful, Gold Rush, Nisenan. And then also I'll highlight for you, this question came through as being quite readable, and this was the question of, how do you see this artwork contributing to the downtown area? And these were, this was like a multiple choice question. So we had the majority of the response, or the highest number of folks voted for storytelling or history. Also popular was beautification, and then social or cultural commentary. Those were the top results. And then 39 people for community gathering, 24 people for tourism attraction, and 28 for other. And then this is sort of the longer comments, since these were invited people to fill in their answers to these other questions. What aspects of our city's history, culture, or environment should be reflected in this artwork? And you'll see that we have 89 responses, or 89 people responded and 101 responses. So we can't go through all of those right now. Yeah, and I will say that we haven't had sufficient time to really synthesize the data and pick out what the overwhelming themes were, because they're all individual responses.
Yeah.
So, and then same here, 92 responses, what type of art? Same here, are there colors, materials, or styles? 125 responses. Sorry, I'm jumping around here.
Not your fault. ChatGPT, like, do you pump something like that information into one of those AI things and generate like a synopsis that extracts what you need?
And then same with what height or size, 88 responses. And location or concerns, what concerns do you have about a permanent public art installation in this location? Maintenance, visibility, safety, relevance, 85 responses there. And then what role do you think public art should play in our community? The most popular was education, and then coming in a close second is beautification. And then we do have a word cloud for that one as well. So I added that to your staff report. And any other thoughts, ideas, or concerns? 61 of the people that took the survey responded to that, and there are 61 responses.
The number one answer was no.
Yes, you might be right.
Like, no to the whole idea?
No to the
No.
question, as an answer to the
Well, any
question.
thoughts? No other thoughts?
No other thoughts.
No other thoughts, yes.
Gotcha.
Do you have other thoughts? No.
So yes, tonight I was hoping that the commission would discuss the results of the survey and the workshop. Everyone was here except for Mira, but I know you watched online, and give any feedback to staff. I would like to request that we synthesize the data a little bit and sort of break it down, if you wish, to better present the findings and the public's comments from the survey results.
Yeah.
Thank you for your work.
Okay, any questions?
One of my questions was like, is there, a common theme that emerged for what the community wants? And I think we can kind of gauge that, obviously not from like the really specific individual responses, but from those words around the theme. And it's like historic Nisenan community nature seemed to be the most popular.
I'm
or-
seeing a lot of stone,
Stone.
metal, wood. A lot of people are saying for it, stone, metal, wood.
Oh, not the materials, I mean like the
Just
theme
the
of the
theme.
artwork.
Okay.
Like historic community in Nisenan.
Is there even consensus that it's wanted? It seems unclear.
Yeah,
from
I
this.
mean, I think there was an item about like other possible locations. I don't know if that's something we should discuss.
So that's not
That's-
part of this
okay.
item. So, this would ultimately be a recommendation from you if, to the council, if this is a site for potential public art installation, and if so, what type of art, and, in what context. The answer can be no, the answer can be we don't know, the answer can be we want to wait until the construction's done and revisit it. The answer can be, as Lisa's indicating, we think we see some themes, but we'd like you to dig into this data and, give us a more detailed analysis of, all the times all these things were said and how many
Yeah.
people said yes, how many people said no to the art and concept. So there's no right or wrong answer here. In future projects, the intent would be, this project was created, 15 years ago or more. So in future projects, we'll bring this forward to you before, it is contemplated to be awarded for, to go out to bid, instead of, having to do it after it's going to start construction. But we're left with this place where we are now, we're seeing if it's the right place for art. So all of those options are available to you, and, you can hear the public comment tonight and decide which way you want to go. And, I mean, you could say, this is what it is tonight, take it to the council at the next meeting. Well, you can't say that, but, because I don't have room on the agenda, but anything other than that, you can do.
Cool. Any other just like questions before we get to public comment? Okay. Public comment? Yeah, go ahead.
Can you come to the lectern, please, so we can get your...
Okay, I live up on the middle of Broad Street, and just for, just to kind of give you guys an idea that a lot of the neighbors, we want to see something that's done up there that would be really nice. But as far as drawing up tourists and sitting on benches, we're not for that. During the events that we have in town, both Broad Streets, east and west, they get so crowded, and it's a zoo up there. And they're parking in front of people's residence as it is, even though it says no parking. This has been going on for years. And so that's why we're reluctant, is because we need the tourists in town purchasing from the stores. We don't really need them going into the residential areas and sitting there. And the concern is we get foot traffic, usually like from outside in, that type of thing. And there's other bed and breakfasts up there, and that's fine. But we've had people linger sitting on the concrete walls, and we've had issues with it. So it's bringing an element that's at risk for safety. And so if you could take that into account, it would be really appreciated. But we would like to see something beautiful up there, and we are for that. We love the idea of bringing both crosswalks at the same. That will make a big difference too as far as safety. But we're really, really hoping that you decide not to put a sitting area, because downtown we have a lot of benches and we have a lot of sitting areas. We have ample for people to eat outside in the little tables, that little square there. So I've been up here 50 years. I've seen a lot of changes. Changes are good. I'm not saying it isn't. But I would like to see, well, my personal opinion is a beautiful little clock up there would be really nice. That's kind of low, but yet you could admire it. Something similar to Grass Valley clock, not high though, but it needs to be lower. But anyway, so that's just to give you an idea that we're on board, but we're really concerned about the safety and the foot traffic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gail Damsky again. My mother was an artist. My father was a very gifted hobbyist photographer. I myself went to Humboldt, had my art degree, and then I went to Davis and got a master's in graphic design. So I'm a very visual person. And I don't always come to these meetings, but when it comes to this art, it's part of my soul. And I've also been an art teacher, and I can't give you a real fast lesson, but I did write down something having to do with what is composition in art. Understanding the arrangements of the elements involved is where one starts. Art is not only about the subject matter, it's also about how the elements within the work are arranged. It's how they are balanced, how it plays a crucial role in creating a visual, compelling, and engaging wave in which impacts and captures the viewer's attention. Composition in art, especially if it is to be seen and experienced by a viewer, is all about the arrangement of the elements within a given space, be it on a flat surface of a painting, drawing, photograph within graphic design, or in the three-dimensional form of sculpture, or in landscape design. It involves organizing subjects, lines, shapes, colors, and other elements that must become the focus in order to create balance, harmony, and visual interest. Composition is a simple rule that all disciplined artists and designers use. for it guides viewers' eyes and evokes different moods and affects shaping the overall impact of the art or the given space being worked on. It follows established rules, which in the end refines the aesthetic pleasure or that visual act. I imagine all of you, being artists, hold this true as well. I look at the location up there where the Y is, and my main focus is on that beautiful Victorian that was built in 1852. That should remain the visual focus, no distraction. I am all for having some kind of division, extension, but that is not the place to put a piece of art. It distracts from that very beautiful house that I have loved for over 50 years. That's your house? I'm trying to protect it. I too have talked to neighbors within that area, and nobody really wishes to have it, other than keep it as you have planned it. There's plenty of places for art. I am all for public art, believe me. I don't see that as the best place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Burning desires? How's everybody? I'm new to the microphone system. First time up, first time beginner artist. Yes. To allay the young lady's fears about loiterers and such like that, I think that could be considered in the budget for security. I don't know what we're even talking about, but I do appreciate you guys, you ladies and gentlemen, taking the time to parse words and figure out how to best use resources. I really feel strongly about abridging the colonial build, this beautiful this relatively new pimple on this, beautiful land, like always, that the Nisenan and the Medu be respected and really considered to bridge that gap. The aesthetic of the house and the town, I certainly agree with as an artist, and thank you for what you're doing, showing up. Appreciate y'all.
Okay, great. Commissioners, anything you'd like to offer here? Surely you do.
I would. In looking at this, and in our last packet, apparently, there were letters that had been submitted, and my bad, I didn't check just before coming down to the meeting because I didn't realize they can be added up to like 3 o'clock that day, and I hadn't checked before we had our last meeting. So I was, we were conducting the workshop, and I wasn't aware of the letters that had come in. I've since gone back and reread those letters. And I think my concern about this, the safety improvements and the things that are planned that way make a lot of sense. But my concern about putting anything up there, first, that's going to have people walking across, cutting across the street just to see a piece of art or bench or whatever's there, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. This is not in the general business zone. It's not in the historical district. It's outside. It's in the R1 zone. And the Mr. Rude or Mr. Rudd, I'm not quite sure how he pronounces his name, that owns the Malloy House, said he's absolutely opposed to anything there. He's the one that's most affected by it. Then other neighbors, there are several other neighbors who are concerned, and they're the ones that are the most impacted. And so I really do not feel it is appropriate. I just can't in good conscience say, yes, put something there that is going to impact the people that live there 24/7, 365 days of the year. That's what I have to say.
I feel like it sounds like we do need more time.
We need more
because I think there's a lot of, like, we want to hear from the community, and I think it's valid, you know, people who reside there. And I think there's also been input from local residents that feel like it could benefit in some way when it comes to traffic and people driving really fast in that street, that could, you know, just the construction itself will do that. But I also, looking at the survey, I do think like having a more concise way to view the results would help inform a decision. And I think continuing to hear from the community will also help inform. And I think it's kind of creating buzz now where people are hearing about it. I've heard personally, being out in the world, people having input, both positive and negative, including local residents. So I don't know, my opinion is that I feel like we need more time to really be able to hear from the community, because I do feel like we're going to base our decision on input from the people.
Yeah, and I would encourage you to go through and read the results. Obviously, I don't
Yeah.
expect you to tally, you know, the findings, but happy to present that at the next meeting,
Yeah, absolutely.
if that's
Thanks,
the
Lisa.
desire of the commission.
Yeah.
When is construction starting on the Y? When does that?
As soon as it stops snowing.
Sean, did I understand you to say that this could happen after it's done too, or it doesn't need to happen before because of some funding thing? I'm not clear.
Oh, 100% will happen after. So the
okay.
construction really will start.
Okay, as soon as
as soon as the weather allows, and will be done by summer. So it's, anything.
Will be done
that-
by summer?
Yeah,
Wow.
Okay.
It's not like a 5-year project.
right.
Sweet.
Yeah, so it's, so anything we would do up there would be, you could certainly come up with an idea, a theme, get it approved by council. We could contemplate a bid or something like that, but there's really no way that it would be integrated into the construction process.
And our role is just to decide what would go there, not if something should or not.
Recommend.
You're making a recommendation to the council, one, if it's an appropriate place for art in your estimation, and two, if you think so, what type of art should be there. And then if you did that, my guess would be that they would say, sounds good, and give it back to you to work on, fleshing out a plan for that. That doesn't mean that not all projects have to have art, and not all of them are going to need this, or even if they all are going to have art, they're not all going to have the same type of art. So, there's you don't have to have any rush to this. Your deliberative process can be lengthened. You might come to a point where you say, we got the right idea. On another project, you might come across the idea right off the get, because there seems to be consensus in the community about what should go there. So, if there's any consternation about any of that, it's just good to give us feedback about how we can support you through the decision-making process, and whatever decision you ultimately end up making, whether it's this is the wrong place for art, the right place for art, or whatever the type of art might be, that there's no wrong answer.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend we kind of pause on this. I do just want to say, I think, the nature of this body is to foster love and nourish the idea of public art in this community, and how we go about that is really important as a new body. And it is also to foster trust with the people who are participating in the civic process. That being said, I want us to be mindful of, when we talk about who is most impacted, it is not just people with 3-digit addresses, and that there's a lot of limitations already involved in Nevada City, and we're also trying to, bring down barriers so that everybody can enjoy Nevada City in an equitable way. But I do really appreciate the residents who are here, and we definitely value your input. So just language is important in terms of who's most affected. So anyhow, yeah, my recommendation would be like to just take it slow, take it easy, take more input. And I don't know if it's like even asking Lisa to bring back synthesized results to next meeting, if we even want to go there, or if we want to maybe say, like, one option could be, do we want to just pick this up in like July when there's like construction's kind of happening, and just take the temperature again and let it sort of like simmer, because we can already feel that there's energy around it, kind of in a good way, but also like we don't want to burn our bridge by like, rushing to something and bumming 50% of people out, and there is no rush, really.
Yeah. I very much agree. I think that, we only have so many opportunities for public art in this area, and what we do should be a reflection of this community and its values. And like my personal hope would be that it's something that, is an opportunity for less visible narratives, such as the Nisenan, but that, also this is a great opportunity for something that's a composite. It can represent multiple stories about this area, multiple histories, so that all kinds of people can come and enjoy this art and be educated and feel included and represented, and it can be a connecting point rather than something that tears us apart. And also like a great opportunity for whoever is chosen to create this art to engage with different stakeholder communities and build something together. That would be my hope, that it's something that brings people together. So, yeah, more time.
More time. Yeah. More time.
Also, I feel like the residents, if they knew precisely, like if something was, like what about the concept being agreed upon or hammered out a little bit clearer, like what, there's a consensus on that, so they know what they're, they get behind something that they really love.
Yeah, it's totally. And, I think part of us like going through this public feedback process, which I'm really happy we did, because so we're trying to be as mindful as possible. Okay, so do you need anything else from us?
We'll take that direction, and we'll likely bring you back the data on your consent calendar at a future meeting, and then you can tell us when you want to bring it back to be calendared. That way you'll have the data in a more digestible format, and the public can have access to it as well. And then when it's ready for prime time, you can let us know when you want it back on your
Is there any
agenda.
way we could just leave the survey open, like, so that if people are like, hey, I have an opinion, we can be like, survey's open. Like, survey's been open for 6 months, you are totally welcome. Or
She's shaking her head yes, so I'm assuming that's possible.
open it, keep it open.
You can do that.
And is there a possibility of like knowing other locations close to the city, maybe not right, obviously not in the historic district, but other opportunities for something like this? Like having a little map of other possibilities too, just in case this one isn't the one, but.
I think we have that.
So
Oh, yeah, okay.
we do have a listing of the city-owned locations, but the reason for this is referred to you from the council
Yeah.
because it's a project that was, that we bid for construction. So they want your input as to whether it's something that should be. So there's, there's not just a standing opportunity for anywhere to have art. At the same time, if there is, if you coalesce around, hey, this is the one place in the whole town that really needs art here immediately, then you can certainly make that recommendation to the council.
Okay.
And yeah, if you want to build a storyboard, online of all the cool places that could have art, we'd love to find somebody that could do that.
Cool. All right, let's keep it going. Item number 6, recommendation for the purchase of an art piece from Champ. Yay, yay. Providing recommendation.
So our intention, as long as funding is available, and who knows how that will go, but I hope that there always is, for as long as we have the Champ Gallery, is to purchase a piece from each installation amongst the items that are for sale and that the artists are willing to sell to the city. it won't be something that we'll ask you to vote on, but we will ask for your input on. And so there's 16 pieces out there now. Not all of them are for sale, but the majority of them are. So in your packet is certainly not a perfect rendering of all the items, but enough for you to kind of refresh your memory since you're not all standing out in the hallway there. It is the individual card that lists the artists and the piece and the information, as well as the price and the contact information or the socials for the artists, as well as a picture of the art. What we will do before the art comes down, Lisa's already coordinated with one of our other, Brittany, who's has been sitting where Gabby is sitting tonight. Before, we'll be taking nice photos of everything that is hanging on the wall, and then we'll recreate basically this manual or this document with nicer photographs, and then those photographs will also be on our website for each installation, along with this information, so you can look back year over year of what these are at any time, and you can find the artist information. It's like, hey, seems like 6 months ago I saw something, from an artist that I really liked at City Hall, and so you could go back and find that. But for tonight, what we're really asking is, one, that that we remind people that all these pieces that are, not all, but most of the pieces that are out there are for sale from local artists. Most of them are well priced. A couple of them are underpriced. I won't tell you which ones, but if they're in the low 3 digits for any of the items that are out there, they're underpriced, just based on the time to make them. I would encourage people to get them before the city can get them, because they're all wonderful pieces. But if for the commission, if you have a passion for any particular one, certainly send me or Lisa an email with your interest, and we'll be seeking input from city staff and council and other commissioners, other commissions and committees, and then we'll make a selection before they come down and confirm with the artists that they're willing to sell to us, and then we'll have to figure out where we're going to display them in the long term. But that'll be a nice, fun challenge. So mostly just a reminder that those are out there, that they're for sale, they're local artists, and that we intend to acquire one from each installation. So happy to answer any questions, but don't need any direction. But if you did say have a passion for this one that's out there, I think most of you were here for our grand opening and met many of the artists that were here, got to hear some of their stories. So yeah, that's it on that one.
Beautiful. Any questions, guys?
So are we actually going to pick one as a commission and say, this is the one we think you ought to buy?
No, you can give your input as an individual. You're welcome to do that tonight, but you could just send me an email or at least an email. But we'll collectively take input from, from staff, from city council, from a variety of people. You're not voting to pick one tonight.
Okay. I mean, obviously, we probably all have our ones that we really, just public property, that we like. So, I didn't know what we were going to use if we did, like we did picking them,
Right, yeah. No, we'll have 100 people that give input, and then I'll just go with whatever Lisa says.
Depending on your budget.
Did some of them already sell, though, so some aren't available?
There are several that
Okay.
that I've been told were sold, yeah.
And then I just want to add, I know that the Story of Oak, the piece in collaboration with Chirp and the Tribe, that is listed as not for sale, but we do sell prints that are on watercolor paper that are the same size, that are like the original for $300. So we could
Wonderful.
do something like
I was
that.
going to ask about that piece.
Yeah, and we also sell smaller print versions that are more affordable as well at Ubaseo.
Could we put that
I think it's listed like that there's prints for sale at the gallery, but that
prints of different size
particular-
available at Ubaseo
Yeah,
Gallery?
but that one, like, the prints look identical to that, and they're that size. We have that as an option. I think my recommendation, and also something for us to consider moving forward as a commission, is maybe we start to do like a best of theme selection every time. I don't know if we want to give awards. But then that could be also the piece that the city ends up purchasing at the end. And
Like which piece portrayed what
The
the
theme.
gallery was trying to
Yeah,
show,
yeah,
the best
that
kind of
can
thing,
be-
the theme?
Yeah, that can be a fun award. Maybe we don't want to do that, but, and then if this runs like long enough, I think it would be really wonderful if you did like a collections exhibition a few years from now. You could display what the city has collected, all the local, I think that could be a really wonderful way to celebrate the Champ Gallery's progress.
Yeah, that'd be the hope
Yeah.
in 5 years' time, right? You'd have 15 pieces that you could
Exactly.
put back out there.
I really like that idea.
Yeah.
Is there any public comment? Great.
I know you don't have a complete, like, defined plan for what you're doing with these pieces, but as far as displaying them, is the intention that they'll be continued to be viewed by the public?
Correct.
Okay. And so it's essentially finding a place within City Hall that's not the gallery?
Or it could be the gallery, or it could be another
Okay.
city-owned facility.
Mm-hmm.
We happen to own a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, right.
Depending on
Yeah.
the piece, maybe Kathy wants to host it at her side hustle on Main Street.
I think that would be great if
We
they
call
could
that Firehouse
travel.
Number One, sorry, it's not.
I was going to say, obviously, I'm biased on,
Yeah, I think the only thing with like having these permanent pieces in the gallery, if maybe just allocating, so it doesn't like disrupt with like what the current exhibition is. But I love the idea of them going into other facilities too. I think art brings a lot of joy, so having like city employees like looking at a piece of art, I think I love that idea. And then as far as like the purchasing, I know ultimately it's Lisa's decision. But are there like considerations, like are we trying to, is like Mira was saying, like is it the best of theme? Like, what are the considerations when like informing the decision? Or of course we all have our own personal preference, like I do, but just wondering if like, are there considerations for buying these pieces, or is it really just like, this is like the best that we felt, like as a majority of,
I think so, yeah.
I think it's gonna just come down to an overall feel. I mean,
Okay.
We'll probably have 50 votes for it, so I think they'll probably be in number one emerge. I think the only thing that it would be an exclusionary factor is if there was a $10,000 piece out there, that's not gonna be something the city's gonna
Yeah.
be purchasing short of obtaining a grant.
Okay.
And there's not a $10,000 piece out there for those at home.
Is size also a consideration for the city? Are you wanting?
Not right now.
Okay.
I mean,
All
we're
right.
gonna, I would
With that
love
new
to have
shop.
the problem of having too much cool art and needing to find a place to put it. I told
Great.
Lisa earlier today, that's not a joke. Didn't I say we're gonna end up having to buy the Alpha building anyway?
Yay.
So, we might as well just hang a whole bunch of art there.
Please do
You're
something with
preparing.
the
If anybody
Alpha
wins the
building.
lotto tonight and wants to donate money to that cause,
Sean, could you remind us again, I know we talked about what could be hanging inside the council chambers here. Would a piece that you purchase, once it belongs to the city, be able to be hung in here?
there's certainly the potential that could happen.
you don't have a lot of
Different than
wall
the
space.
gallery. The gallery has the potential to have thematics that would be outside the bounds of what might be appropriate for a council meeting. But yes, it's possible that we could buy art that we would install in the council chambers.
I know that you use walls.
We got a
for
lot of blank
things,
walls.
so-
Carpeted walls are not very popular anymore.
So safe, though. Safe, so soft.
Okay. Cool. Well,
So send us your individual thoughts.
an invitation to give feedback. Okay. Great. Wow, I am such an efficient chairperson. Commissioners, do you have anything you'd like to share? Reports, updates, weddings, gossips?
We do number 7?
We have an invitation.
Oh, what? There's more?
Number 7. Accept the proclamation. Arts, culture, and creativity.
That sounds so great. I would love to do that. It's not on my, I'm gonna find it.
Oh, that's why, probably.
Yeah, right here.
That was a
Invitation
test.
to attend.
See?
I'm never
April.
gonna be chair again.
That's my fault,
We have
Madam
more
Chair, my
business.
apologies.
Number 7.
We do have an invitation to attend, the April 9th, 2025 meeting to receive the City Council proclamation for Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month. Sean, tell us more.
Yeah, so April is Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month. Or so says the Californians for the Arts and Nevada County Arts Council and the City of Nevada City. So the council will be adopting a proclamation on April 9th to that effect. And the hope is that the commission, ideally all 7 of you, but obviously it's hard to get, 7 people all in the same room at the same time, could come and accept that proclamation. It will be a little bit different this year, so if you want to know what different is, then you'll have to wait till the agenda gets posted on Friday night and read it. Yeah, so this is, you are an outcropping of our strategic plan and our vibrancy strategic initiative, in which more than 1,000 people in our community said art is important and something that our city council and our city should be working on advancing within our community. And so one of the goals was to create a public art policy, create a public art ordinance, and eventually create a public arts commission, which is thankfully all of you volunteered to provide your services in that capacity. And so council would love to recognize you with that. At the same time, we'll that same night we'll be doing a proclamation for Dark Skies Week.
Yeah, International
Dark Sky Week, which has overlap because our first, before we had the Champ Gallery, we kind of had a soft Champ Gallery, which was, as you remember, the winners from the Dark Sky photo competition that were hanging out there. Thank you for those that made that happen. And we're going to be having an event April 26th for that, hosted by our Planning Commission Chair out at the park. So that'll be cool.
Pioneer Park Night Sky Experience, get people outside, enjoying the nighttime environment. There'll be some telescopes there, looking at stars. Dark sky awareness.
Cool.
So we'd love to see you next Wednesday at the council meeting. If you can't make it, you can watch it on TV. If you can't do that, then you can watch it on YouTube later or pretend that you did. But I know the council would love to thank you for your service to the community, not just in arts, but in all things arts, culture, and creativity.
What time does it start?
The meeting starts at 6:30, and it's after the kind of the setup. It's the first thing on the agenda, so it's 5 minutes in.
And say thank you for the invitation, but as I indicated earlier, you'll only have 6 commissioners at best because I will not be able to attend.
Thank you.
Cool. Questions? Sounds good. Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you.
Okay, I was early on this part. Do we have anything to share, commissioners?
So Chirp and the Nevada City Rancheria Nissan Tribe are opening a new retail gallery space.
They're not laughing.
Why are you
I'm
laughing?
excited.
It's been a long time coming. You may have seen the sign on the door. It's at 205 York Street, so it's the old Ampcoil building right next to Elixart. And the vision is for a native retail gallery space. It's pretty small. The current exhibit that's there is some abalone and beaded jewelry made by tribal members. There's a Ben Nighthorse piece. He's a pretty famous native jeweler. And then a collection of donated artworks by local artists, as well as there's some Thomas Kincaid and Osborne Wood prints. So we're hoping to get more inventory in there. We're having just a very soft opening, open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for like 3 hours each day. So
wow.
Yeah, come check it out.
Congratulations.
We're hopefully going to get more
Yeah.
stuff in there. But yeah.
Can I? Of course. So the Nevada County Arts Council and the cultural districts, in partnership with the cities and the chambers, are leading a Nevada County's Arts and Culture Action Plan, which means we've hired a people-centered design consultancy firm to lead us in this process of an arts and culture action plan for Nevada County. And the consultants are going to be in town at the end of April, and I think, and they'll be leading listening sessions for the community. And I just want to invite the commission, if anyone is available to attend. They'll be capturing voices from the community to kind of help inform, and guide this action plan, which involves, coming up with different funding opportunities locally, thinking about like a marketing plan for our cultural districts, speaking to arts and culture. So I think having your voices there would be great. We're hosting 4 listening sessions on April 30th and May 1st. You can RSVP and find the different locations and times at cultureforwardca.org. The listening sessions are listed there, so cultureforwardca.org.
Is there also a survey?
We also have a survey, so please fill out the survey as you go to the website. It's also on there. Yeah. And the city's been partnering with us on that too. So one of the locations is the Miners Foundry. And you will see. It would be great to have some of the art commissioners in the room. Yeah.
Okay. All righty. I am looking for a motion and a second to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
We have motions from Arianis and Schwartz to adjourn. Can we all say it together? On the count of 3? Aren't we allowed to?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
So you're going to Hollywood?
Yeah, and also I just want to welcome Commissioner Arbex to the table. We're really happy to have you. It's a delight. Okay, with that, on the count of the 3, say aye. 1, 2, 3. Aye. We adjourned at 6:47.